Greetings, everybody, and welcome to episode 28 of the Sickcast, aka the Siblings and Cardboard podcast. I'm your host, Donnie, joined by my buddies / co-hosts, Noah and Thomas. Whether you're a veteran card gamer or a first-timer just testing the waters, we are all Siblings in Cardboard. Guys, how have things been since the last time we talked?
Great. I took Noah to an RTN. I did well.
Again? Huh.
Yep. I played Reinar.
Played
How'd you do,
Reinar this
Noah?
time.
Let me tell you guys, I'll preface it with this, because I'm all smiles. Okay, you're not gonna hold me down. I had the most fun playing Flesh and Blood I've had in a long time.
You said that last week too.
Yeah, but I didn't do well at all. And I probably had more fun this week than I had last week, and I lost. I lost horribly. I lost. There's only one game that I was actually like semi upset about, and that's because it was really on me. And I was like, that was upsetting.
You punted a Kano game, right?
Oh, out the water. Just straight out the water. Literally was sitting on 2 Oases the whole time, doing my normal thing, having the time of my life. And then I just said, you know what? No tunic, no mana. Just tap out. And I was just like, that sounds like a really bad idea. And I proceeded to watch him do it. And I was just like, this is a really bad idea. And I just kept looking at the Oasis like, imagine, right? Imagine if I could just play you right now. I wouldn't die and this game would be over, but I can't. So I looked at him and I just showed him the Oasis. I was like, you see, I was like, it's all my fault.
Oops.
It's whatever. I played the first game, a really good one against Sebastian from the Card Guys on stream, on his Katsu. And it was down to the wire, but I got Kodachi locked on the life. Talked about it afterwards. And to Thomas as well, probably need to add sigils, probably need to focus more on the life gain, because you can't block Katsu out all the time, and I probably should have let some of the hits hit. It's a little inexperienced. First time I've ever played that type of a hash hit into Katsu, so it works a little different. I always have the mindset if I can block it, but I feel like sometimes you want to pull the cards from the deck, so you kind of want him to combo. It's a really weird thing, but you wanted him to combo on your terms.
You want a combo when you have like a bunch of D reacts in your hand.
Yeah. And so like I was doing really well, but the Kodachis just add up. I felt like a guardian, and then I felt terrible at the end because of the Kodachis.
Yeah, and you're even better equipped to deal with it because you have Dynamos, so you're only getting one Kodachi a turn.
I was in such a life deficit in a way, not really deficit, but I was so low that I couldn't reset Dynamos. My hands were being like fully utilized to block, and he was floating this Ancestral, and I knew he had it, and I was worried about Razor Reflex because he had 1, and I was like, well, is it just 1? And it's like, I don't know, he could be cheeky and run 2. And so I was like, I fair blocked, and I knew the Ancestral was coming. I was just like, God, I was like, come on, man. I was like, I know it's in your deck somewhere, but like, why now? Why right at this second? The third game was against a Phi who was a newer player, and at that point I was already 0-2, and it was my buddy's brother, and so I spent the whole game just telling him how to beat me. I didn't even care. I know that might seem weird.
Whatever you do to get a Phoenix Flame, do that.
Yeah, dude, I was sitting there looking at him like, no. I was like, what do you got there? I was like, play that, then that. I was like, beat me. I was like, please. So and then I played against KO against Tobias, one of the locals, and we had such a good game. It was a good game, close game. He killed me with a reckless swing, and we were having the I went down to 1, and he said, "You're crazy."
You need the sigil. You need the sigil.
I do. I know it was good practice. Trust me. Like I still learn things, but I was like, I know I'm crazy, and then I go. It's funny. I go, I think I'm supposed to just like pitch this and swing because it's lethal and I got to get a card out of your hand. Like there's no point in giving you a 4-card hand, right? And he's like, oh, if you want to. And then he just flips reckless swing over and shows all 6s. And I'm just like, well, come on. I have to get the card.
And then you take it on the chin. Doesn't that deck run take it on the chin?
I didn't have one. Trust me. If I had to take it on the chin, it would be the greatest thing ever. But like, it was such, again, played some of the most fun Flesh and Blood I've ever played. And then I fatigued a max because that's the easiest thing to do. He saw Dory, he took all of his construct stuff out, and he said, I'm going to boost into her. And I said, I'm not on Dudley.
Oh, no.
That was a sideboard mistake.
And I watched his deck go like this, and I still had maybe 40 cards. I was just like, dude, it was just boosted away. I played the whole game with, I'm always blocking Banksy. I think I let it hit once because I just wanted to do like a reset on Dynamo.
And Banksy too, so he didn't even have pistol to rely on to try to get damage through.
Yeah, no. So I spent the entire time pretty much just saying, okay, I'll take that, and then block Banksy, and then life parity with some gain, and we walked it all the way down until he had no cards left. But that was my RTN experience. I had a great box of heavy hitters, pulled a cold foil Apex and another Grains of Blood Spill. I have 3 of them now, all rainbow foil. And so again, I had the most fun. I wasn't working, and I was having a good time playing Flesh and Blood.
Speaking of cold foil grains, I pulled one at draft on Saturday, Armory. And then traded it, plus my birthday present from Noah. Now I have a pair of cold foil mandible claws for ever how long those last for. Thanks, KO.
I figured.
Yeah, for the listeners, we were talking about it right before we started recording. KO is fast tracking. So yeah, that's a legitimate concern.
Well, and I didn't do that because he's fast tracking. I did it because I won't play them, and they're going to sit in my binder, and he's going to Pro Tour. So what better way to play than to swag out with some cold foil claws? And somebody else wanted the grains, and I wanted shiny stuff from his binder. And so it was a really good way that I got to sneak it from him and then trade it to him. Oh, it was good. We were, again, I can't stress enough. I had so much fun, like so much fun. It was a wonderful trip.
So,
nice. Very nice.
My first match was against a Prism. It was Iris Prism. Man, I was so shook when he flipped over Iris. I'm like, I don't know this matchup very well. And I'm playing Rhinar, by the way, not Levia. And it was really close. He got like a double haze bending down, and even clearing out the haze bendings, he got to generate a bunch of spectral shields. And it was just really, really hard to hit him hard enough to get rid of the spectral shields, because Rhinar can like fall into that trap of like block 6, swing 6, and that's where Iris Prism just completely rolls you, because she could block 6 and then swing 8, like, so you're losing every turn cycle. And I was finally managed to get him cleared up and kept like canceling out voiding angels, and finally worked him down and killed him when he had a no block hand. It was close.
Nice.
Then I played against Kasai, and that was a short game because I Blood Rush Bellowed into a Show No Mercy with an agility, into a claw, into a Show No Mercy. Yep. So I intimidated 3 cards out of his hand and attacked for 8 + 5 + 5 + 11, because at that point the Show No Mercy took the last card out of the hand. Yeah, I was like, this is not a hand that Rhinar's supposed to do. This is Levia style hands. Rhinar's not supposed to be able to hit those caps, but that kind of happens when you Blood Rush Bellow a Beast Within and draw the nuts. Then I got to play a KO on camera, and I completely flattened him. I don't think it was a skill issue or anything. His starting hand was bad. I chose to go second. And his first hand was Blue Wrecker Romp, Blood Rush Bellow, Cast Bones. No, he chose to go second. He chose to go second. I Arsenal passed, which he probably was not happy to hear. I Arsenal passed, and he goes second, and he goes Cast Bones. And I go, that's a really weird turn too. What is going on here? And the next turn, I like set up. In the next turn, he goes, all right, Blood Rush Bellow. And he Blood Rush Bellows, and he throws his first attack. And this is the Cast Bones hit 6, so this attack's coming in for like 14, right? 14, go again. And I'm like, all right, Flesh Bag. He doesn't, this is Tunic on 2, Flesh Bag it. Because that's what you do. If you're playing a Brute, and KO swings at you, and you've got Flesh Bag, if Tunic is on 2, you have a chance of breaking in his entire turn. And boy, did I. I sniped his blue. He swung for 14 and passed off of the Blood Rush Bellow. I commenced to do High Roller, Barraging Beatdown, Send Packing. So Send Packing for 14. He had 1 card in hand. And what was his other card in Arsenal? It was that second Blood Rush Bellow.
Yeah, I was going to say the other Blood Rush Bellow.
Right away.
Oh, that's dirty.
Yeah,
That's dirty.
And then after that turn, I also had a decent Blood Rush Bellow hand. It's on camera, so it's gonna show up on YouTube eventually. But I high rolled super hard, and then Eric, I played Eric in round 4. He is the one who won that RTN. He beat the crap out of me. It wasn't even close. I think it was like 16-0 at the end. I need more practice with Rhinar. I do not understand how to play from behind. If we're even, I'm good. If I'm ahead, I'm good. I do not know how to play from behind with Rhinar. I need more practice. Then I played against Joel. He was playing KO.
Oh, it was okay.
And he got ahead, and I just could not catch up because he doesn't care if I intimidate him when he's ahead. Like, I'm not blocking anyway.
Yeah, he wasn't going to block anyway.
Yeah, so unless I could like throw command and conquers and send packings to try to nix his arsenal, then there's not a lot he cares about. And I think I did even kill his arsenal, and he didn't care. Then I played Joel on Levia, and I just couldn't. I was going to scoop to him anyway, because he wasn't guaranteed top 8, and I was, because I won my first 3 rounds. And he does want to go to Nat, so I was going to just scoop him into top 8 anyway. And he's like, no, let's play it out. I'm like, sure. All right, let's play it out. He kicked my butt too. I couldn't even pressure Husk off of him. I tried and tried, because the way you beat Levia with Rhinar, you get rid of their Husk, and then when they get to like 19 or something, you intimidate their entire hand and knock them below 13. And you go, okay, you don't have consumed. Now we're basically equal ground, except you have to deal with blood debt. Could never do that. He kicked my butt there too. So I went 3-2. And then at that point, Noah was already done because he was out, and I was ready to go home. And I knew I was probably going to scoop to somebody, because the way everything lined up, there were 4 people who wanted invites. I was pretty much friends with all of them in top 8. And then there were like 3 or 4 of us who had invites. And I looked at the seating, the way we'd probably get seated. I'm like, I'm probably just going home. And Eric, sure enough, I've got Eric, and I'm like, all right, buddy, congrats on your Nats invite. I get to go home and be home before 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. It was a good call because Eric won it, and the gold foil was garbage.
Oh, what was the gold foil?
The vest of the first fist.
Oh, no, not the vest.
Dude, all gold foils are worth something. It was not worth me staying there and getting home at midnight.
That's one of those gold foils you wish you'd left in the envelope.
Dude, I mean it. If someone said, I'll give you a gold foil vest of the first fist if you stay till midnight, I would have said no. I was desperate to go home, so it worked completely. Everything worked out. Invites all around, had a great time, played a different hero. And that's probably it for my RTN season. I think I need a flesh and blood break before I like start getting really deep into the Pro Tour prep.
That makes sense. I went to Tuesday Night Armory. That was pretty much it for me. Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to be able to play any more RTNs. Yeah, I went 1-3 on Katsu again. I've been on a horrendous losing streak lately, guys. It's just been ugly. I can't seem to find a groove with the links list, and the regular Katsu list is just not good right now. So I'm kind of up in the air and trying to figure out what I want to play. I've got Levia built and in my bag. That's the next thing I'm going to try. I just need a bone breaker. So I got to figure that out. But
you should
otherwise, I don't know.
The Card Guys Discord sometime. I know that they're practicing that Katsu list.
I mean, I've talked to Seb about it here and there, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just I don't. That's not my style of Katsu. I mean, that feels right for Phi, but then Phi isn't doing the same broken bond stuff that Katsu is. So I'm in a weird spot with the ninjas right now, man. I'm really looking forward to Part the Misfail. But yeah, I already knew I was done with the RTN stuff. I am taking a work trip to Florida this week, and I'm going to be in the Tampa area. So anybody that's down there, I may try to come and hit an armory. It just depends on when everything is firing and how my schedule and everything lines up. If I can find the free time and it happens to go right, I'll probably go. I'll probably go and check it out. Nah.
I don't know if you'll still even be there on Saturday.
Oh, I will. I'm flying back in on Sunday. Yeah, I'm
There's still a
flying out
few.
tomorrow and then flying back on Sunday.
Yeah, there's one in Augusta, Georgia this weekend. And then I think another one in South Carolina on Sunday.
Yeah.
Those are the last two of the season that are in this area.
One's CC, I think, the Augusta,
Yep.
and then the South Carolina's draft. And there's a chance, there's like some crazy chance that if work lets me leave at a reasonable time, maybe, or I just get the day off, I might try it one more time, just for fun. Draft would be cool to play. But at this rate, if everybody goes to Minneapolis, I'll just go to go. So, like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going.
I would really love to go to an RTN, but for my mental health, I shouldn't.
No. Take your time. You got bigger
Definitely
things
take
to
a
worry
break.
about.
Yeah, you got to win that Pro Tour. That's only in a couple more weeks.
Somebody
Dude,
has to win that Pro Tour.
Stressed out, and that we'll get into it in our main segment. Why I'm so stressed out, but okay. I'm sure the market is shifting leading into Pro Tour as people are buying up cards for their decks or making last minute deck changes.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about it all day, right? Your heavy hitter stuff's going up and down. In fact, there's a heavy hitters card, but watch your grains, watch your apexes. I didn't put them on the list because we've talked about these. Your arm cards, your victor cards, like, they move ever so slightly, but the front runners are already out there. The KO cards aren't getting any more expensive. He's racking up RTN wins, and you'd think the swing bigs would be back up, but they're not. You know what I mean? That's they're not on the list. They're expensive. Don't get me wrong. I think swing big is still very expensive. It's a $27 non-foil, and it's I don't know, what is it? Are we back up to $40 yet on these rainbow foils? Because no, they're $31 on rainbow foil.
I need one more swing big so I don't have to swap them between decks for Rhinar and Levia.
Oh, yeah, we could take care of that. But like, so they're not on there. And there are some things that are moving around, but not anything too crazy. Weirdly enough, the one deck I actually think, and we'll talk about it later, that's going to be a sleeper. I don't think it's a sleeper because it's winning RTNs, but still, those cards haven't moved at all. And they've in fact gotten so cheap, it's kind of crazy. But anyway, we're gonna go into some four picks. Probably two of them are a little weird. Maybe not if you're following speculations. One of them's kind of weird. We're gonna talk about Eye of Ophidia, actually. First card.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. Let me tell you, I've been watching this card for a while. I want an Eye of Ophidia just to have one.
Are
right?
they selling a lot right now?
No, weirdly enough. Well, over the last few days, they have been 27th, 29th, 3rd. Like,
Oh no.
I'd say at least.
Everybody's playing Kano.
Yeah.
So
the stress.
It was let's see here. I don't have a Valentine's Day, so we can't do that. But close to Valentine's Day, right? $320. $320 back in February 19th. That seems pretty good. It's up to $400.
Okay.
So it's trending up, and it is an older Fable. It is from Arcane Rising. Arcane Unlimited is actually a pretty expensive set. Hold its own box value wise. Obviously, first edition. Good luck.
Yeah.
But it is surprising. A lot of the Fables, including Heart, have sunk. Right, like they've all kind of gone down. They've just slowly trended downward. I too,
because they're not like very meta, right?
Yeah,
right.
But now it's starting to come back because Eye is pretty meta. I mean, people play Eye in Azalea.
Huh?
People play Eye in Kano.
Uh-huh.
I've seen some weird people play Eye in Dorinthia, which, sure, do whatever you want. Opting cards is really cool. But honestly, I don't know if it's a mixture of the Arcane Rising Unlimited or the popularity of Kano. It's probably a mixture of both. But I really feel like it's a card you probably want to put on your radar. If you do want an Eye, Kano's still pretty healthy, I think, LL wise in CC.
I think so.
And he's Kano, right? Why play some deck that, I lose to this, or when you can just play Kano, get really good at pitch stacking and have a chance to beat them all.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Kano only has 274 LL points as of recording.
Well, look at that. Guess Ophidia and Kano are going to be a match made in heaven for a hot minute. So you might want to take a look at that. It's just a weird one.
I mean, it gets him over halfway if he wins Pro Tour.
That's
knock on wood.
It would be really weird for everybody to just like disrespect Kano at a high
not
level.
everyone needs to disrespect Kano. He just has to match up a little well and sneak into a top 8 of people who have optimized decks that wanted to dodge Kano, and then that Kano goes.
Yeah. he looks around at the top 8 and he goes, none of these guys brought AB.
Yeah, there's like 3 Kasai's and he's just like, and they're in his bracket, and he's just like, easy Pro Tour, baby.
Now you still got to get through the draft too, so it's not just a straight cruise.
But I mean, like, it's like Majin Bay showing up. I'm pretty sure he's good at card games, all card games.
Mm-hmm.
Just in general, yeah. I've heard of that guy.
I've heard of that guy too. So yeah, I have Ophidia. And for those who don't know, or are only listening to audio, it's a fabled legendary, so you can only have one of them. It's from Arcane Rising, and it just, when you pitch I have Ophidia, it's a blue, up 2. No block value. So really good decks that want to opt. Really bad if you want to block and it's in your hand.
Or if
there's another deck list that I've seen that is using the eye that kind of surprised me. I've been, like I said, I've been kind of struggling with Katsu the last few days, so I've been on a journey trying to find something that looks interesting. Viscerai, the Turtle Burst Viscerai. There's actually versions of it that uses Eye of Ophidia as well.
When you say Turtle Burst, are you really talking about the one that just plays the create rune chant cards over and over again?
Okay. Just rack up to about 45 rune chants and then you go.
No, it's a little more swingy. Like it goes in cycles. You build up some rune chants, send a bunch of rune chants, build up some rune chants, send a bunch of rune chants.
Okay, so this isn't the.
I've seen it work. It depends on who they're playing against, right? Like if they get room to throw one, I think they have a couple big attacks that get reduced by the number of rune chants they have. Like if they get to keep that hand, they eat this like 7 damage attack that has a bunch of rune chants attached to it.
Yeah, Circle of the Nine Oaths or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that comes in
Ninth Blade of the Blood Oath.
Yeah,
they call it the birthday cake.
So birthday
it
cake,
does look
right?
like birthday cake.
And then there's I've seen variants where you do the dominate attack and they just put a bunch of pre-pumps in front of it. Either way, stop playing that deck. I play you on Talishar all the time. You guys know who you are, okay? It's
every time I run into it.
You say that, but Viscerai picked up LL points this week.
I'm going to try to kill you with Reckless Swing. I'm going to make the game go as long as possible, and once you're at 1 or 2, I'm not going to, and you've played all 3 of your sigils, I'm going to sit until you finally throw the attack at me. Just, you made me suffer, I'm making you suffer. I'll AV out whatever amount of rune chance it takes to live, and then I just throw Reckless Swing. Just
fair warning. That deck may be in my book bag the next time I come to a armory near you. Just saying.
I welcome that deck. I promise you. I'm all about it. I got nothing better to do than that, than to beat up on that deck. But the next card I talked about when it first got unveiled, and I told you guys this was going to be a crazy card, and everybody's, I don't know if it's going to be that good. Balance of Justice, it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Kept telling you that headpiece, pretty nuts. Not the Guardswell part. Actually, the Guardswell part is really what makes it insane because it sits there. But it's so good. Obviously, the meta, everybody's drawing cards, so yes, it's good because the meta's, but it's good. It has relative play. LSS knew. They said, hey man, when these cards come out, these are going to be some front runners. We need to have a way of saying this is the new crown to counter that. And it works. The reason I picked it is because the Rainbow Foil, when it first unveiled, and actually for quite a while, you could have picked it up at the beginning of, let's go to that Valentine's Day. It's my favorite. $76, which is fair. Could have bought your significant other a Balance of Justice. It has doubled in price now, up to 130, and it'll probably continue to go up. That's the Rainbow Foil. I'm telling you guys, this card is insane. I don't have one, and I'm sick about it because I should have just bought it a long time ago. And
mine's in the mail, and I paid right at 70 for it.
Good job.
So I'm feeling pretty good right about now.
That's smart.
It's performed really well against the decks it's good against, and the floor of just it just blocks 2 anyway. You just lose that ability to filter your graveyard from not playing Crown if you don't even bother putting it in your list.
Some people put baits. Some people put baits in their arsenal, right? Like instants, whatever, right? So CNC doesn't really matter. I mean, I bait my arsenal all the time.
CNC still definitely matters, but
CNC is definitely
obviously it matters. It's a good card, okay? But what I'm getting at is that you're not sometimes losing a lot of value in a way of taking it over Crown of Providence, because having the ability to let that crown sit there, you've already blocked with it. And then like some big turn happens and you go, man, I could really use some extra blocking power.
Well,
boom.
It has to be a big turn of someone drawing 2 cards, which doesn't always happen. There's a lot of decks that don't draw 2 cards at a time.
Art of War.
In which case you side it out. You just play your regular
Blood
Crown.
Rush, Bellows, and those are on the 3 most all meta decks, at least right now, are running one of those.
I disagree on one of those cards.
Okay, maybe Cash In.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Okay.
Yes.
Still,
I don't
Art
think
of War.
Kasai's good, but I don't think she's the meta.
She's in the meta though. I'd still put her at A.
If we were talking about choosing a warrior who is meta, I would choose Dory or Bolton first.
Bolton,
we'll get to that.
Bolton for sure.
I think you have at least 2 more cards to get through.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for those Balance of Justice, instant, destroy this, draw a card, activate this ability only if opponent has drawn 2 or more cards this turn, and then it has the Guardswell keyword, which basically just says it loses -1 armor counters equal to its armor. So it'll lose 2 because it has 2. Unless somebody shredded it for some reason, it loses nothing. Whoa! And you don't shred it.
And if you don't need it now, wait till after Pro Tour and see if prices slump at post Pro Tour.
Yeah, because Heavy Hitters is having some weird supply problems too, so it might bring things up for a bit. Anyway, so these next 2 cards are pure speculations, and it was actually brought to my attention that there may be like a potential, I don't know, leak or whatever. Somewhere James White probably said it's going to be the next set. It's going to have an illusionist with Ward. And so what that has prompted is it has prompted Diadem of Dream State, which probably you guys don't even care about that card, or nobody's cared about that card until now. It's $5. It was a
really good
$5 rainbow.
It's
wonderful
pretty.
art.
It's very pretty.
And the full art's amazing, like the extended art. $5. I've seen it for $5. I've seen it for 6, 7, 8. We're not even going to look at the prices. It's $20 now. So welcome up.
It's really a crazy increase.
Welcome back to the realm of legendaries.
Welcome up to a little bit of a real legendary. Cold foils are sitting at let me find out.
Are there cold foils or are those the extended arts?
It'll only ever be the extended. So if it goes cold foil, I'm pretty sure it's extended. $44.22.
Yeah.
The cold foil variant is the extended.
So that's speculation that we're getting our 3rd illusionist in the Miss Veil expansion.
Yeah.
So like with anything, obviously this card is still pretty cheap. Obviously not $5 cheap. But the way these speculations work is things are going to get really expensive as they leak cards if it's confirmed. But then if the hero turns out to be terrible, it'll go back down. And so you really want to weigh your risk. At 18, does it feel good? Absolutely. Because I think if there's some initial spike, when people speculated as soon as that weapon announced, I've never seen Prism cards jump so high in my life. And like they still haven't hit back to some of those highs.
That's because the only thing missing from Prism being really good was a functional weapon.
Well, and she's picked up LL points, but the cards still haven't hit that level. Like they were selling for 220 for some of those Marvels, and like they're not at 220 right now. And so what I'm saying is even if you're like, oh, I see these cards and I don't really like this the way it's going, it will go up. You could sell it. You make a little bit, move on. For those who don't know what Diadem does, it is a headpiece for illusionist equipment. Once per turn, when this or a non-token permanent you control with ward is destroyed, you may pay 1 if you do create a ponder token and it has ward 2 naturally.
Seems really interesting, and I could see some really funny combos where you draw like 6 cards or 7 cards off of Ponder to create a really big hand, but I don't know. not sure how this is ever going to be meta unless there's like literally the hero uses a keyword based off of having ward in play, so that starting with more ward makes it really good.
That would be my guess as to what people might be speculating towards, because the next card we're going to talk about, only in its Marvel variant, because it's the only one that matters, which is actually one of, I really like the chess piece, is Celestial Kimono. And it's the Marvel form from Dynasty. And it's gone up a little bit. I don't see sales. I mean, I think the highest sale right now is 65. I don't see sales at its current price of 86, but I can guarantee you most people are going to try and keep this as high as possible. And since it's a Marvel, it will go higher.
And is that one Ward 2 as well?
No, this one is once per turn when Celestial Kimono or a non-token permanent you control with Ward is destroyed, gain 1 resource. And it has Ward 1.
So it's Ward 1.
It's weird.
So
it is a little weird.
I could clearly there's like this weird combo where if you have like a whole bunch of non-token wards all in one turn, you can make just buku ponders and try to do some kind of weird OTK, like maybe
it's
fire
just once per
breathing
turn.
Oh, is it once per turn?
Yeah, it's only once per turn to gain the 1 resource. So the only thing I can think of is I mean, we're in all speculation here. Is there's got to either it's reliant on having ward keyword in play,
yeah,
or it's like if a ward would be destroyed by damage, it isn't kind of a thing, and you're able to
non-token ward as well, right?
So or a non-token permanent you control with ward. Well, there might be some other cards that are coming out that will be non-token permanents with ward. Like technically, angels are non-token permanents with wards.
That's definitely what we're thinking for Part the Misfail, but it's for right now that is a very weird effect, because what are you going to use that 1 resource for on your opponent's turn outside of like Oasis or Enchanting Melody or those kind of prevention?
Free Oasis Respite sounds pretty solid.
Yeah, but that's only if it lines up correctly. I mean, that's
maybe we get like
that's really hard to take advantage of right now.
Like Prism does like playing stuff on the opponent's turn, so maybe this Illusionist will too.
This could also be, okay, and so that's why I'm saying maybe we don't buy this one. Really cool looking card. I think there's a lot of really great things out of Dynasty. But Rock was teased for all of 1 day. And people overreacted. So what I'm getting at is
so hard. And then he only had 1 arm.
And they only had 1 arm. Okay, so what I'm getting at is all this like priest, like wait for a couple of the cards. You know what I mean? Like if you can get it, get it. But I wouldn't go too hard. Diadem, honestly, I know that card will be great one of these days. Should have bought it at 5. I should have like 400 of them at $5. Really, I mean, seriously, it's a legendary. There's no way eventually it doesn't get some play. I do see that card going higher than 18 if it gets playability. Kimono, we'll wait and see, because I'm actually really sure that they might put out a nice legendary chess piece if they're going to go in that fashion. Ninja for sure, calling it right now, is getting a legendary chess piece. I'm calling it right. There's absolutely no way they're looking at these Katsus going heart and cross. That's just not real.
Is so good.
Good.
Cross strap is really, really good.
But I promise you, there's going to be a nice legendary, real cool outfit. It's going to look great. Oh, God.
Your last hard and cross strap basically reads on it, break this, draw a card. Like,
yeah. But does it have an extended art where you pay like, the tax to get all the nice figure? It doesn't. And so they're going to get that, and it's going to be worth it. Just wait and see. I'm usually right about these things. Like
I'd like to see a new weapon.
Like Reinhardt.
There needs to be new weapons. Like they've been, the ninjas have been like, okay, here's Kodachis for ever. Literally
Kodachi
forever.
or Needle. Yeah, because
but
what is Ira's weapon again?
It's Edge of Autumn.
Edge of Autumn. It's
Edge
not
of
real.
Autumn? Yeah.
Edge of Autumn isn't real. Ira's
ninjas need a new weapon.
We play one Kodachi, one Zephyr Needle, and I play it in every matchup. I don't worry about Ira. I want an adult Ira, though. I don't know how to get one, but somebody please help me figure out how to get an adult Ira. That's it. That's all I got.
Might get like the ghost of Ira. I'm pretty sure she is deceased in the storyline. Or maybe she's...
My guess is a descendant.
Yeah, or
Somebody figure it out, please. I
Right.
will sell out for
Oh, I'm sure
Delmira.
we will know something sometime around March 21st, somewhere in that neighborhood. What's the Thursday night before the Pro Tour? Hold on.
Oh yeah, speaking of that, you gotta give me your mat, because I heard that I can get the little package and go to the players meeting. I promise you, I will run up and like I will figure out a way to get him to sign that.
Just need a silver Sharpie. That's the goal. Silver or white.
Buy it, send it to me. I'm on it.
Okay.
I'm on the mission. Mission accepted.
So our main discussion today is discussing what Pro Tour is going to be like, and
oh no,
what better way to do that than
not
with a
this
tier
shit
list.
again? Oh my god, everybody!
We're gonna have to blaze
lists.
through a tier list.
We got plenty of
If
time.
we-
Don't
if we-
worry about it.
It's pretty simple, right? We
know where the heroes go.
We know exactly where they go, right? Like
I've
Arachne,
played almost all these heroes.
Arachne, I think he's a much better hero than he used to be. He's definitely out of meme tier, right? But I think
What are our tiers?
I think he still comes off as a little bit weak. He struggles into like a lot of aggro pressure, or decks that don't really care that he's taking cards from you. I don't know where to put him other than maybe just weak. He could be playable.
Or stream the tier so we can see it. I feel this is so one-sided.
I
like this.
I didn't even think about streaming this. Okay, this might break.
I don't want to do it if it's gonna break the overlay, but
it's okay to break the overlay. We could fix it,
or just send me a picture so I know what the tier names are.
I know how to fix it. It is super broken at the moment though.
Well, make a timestamp and fix it and say thanks, Noah.
I thought there was a way.
Right,
That's
so
what this is.
We're looking at what the meta is going to be, what a good choice for the Pro Tour will be, what is playable at the Pro Tour,
what
is probably not a good idea, but you may see one or two, and then
Show my screen
not
share.
a chance. That's what we're
checking
seeing.
this.
Right?
Yeah, meme would be like you're pretty much there to just prey on a few decks, have a good time, and it
There
could
we
be
go.
you're on a good hero, but a meme list.
We got it.
But
I mean, it's Pro Tour. Who's going to bring a meme deck to the Pro Tour?
People who are just there for fun.
Right here.
They're going to go no matter what. They got a Pro Tour invite. They'll show up with memes, and then if they go like 4-0,
then they get to go on camera
and just psyop tons of people. I think there are a few meme tier. Like we could just drag Betsy. She's meme tier.
Yeah.
You show up with Betsy, you're memeing. Like, this is just bad Bravo. If she had more specializations that like made it worth running, she's just bad Bravo. I think Riptide's
Viscerai too.
Thank you.
And
I was about to say it. Look,
and
let me tell you
Olympia.
guys, there's too many weapons in the meta right now.
I also think the OTK, while meme tier doesn't always mean bad, I think the OTK Viscerai is just a meme.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, he picked up LL points for the first time in a while, so maybe there's something there.
He's still a card or two away.
It can win. It also, if someone comes into it, he does have that like surprise factor, because if he shows up as aggro rune blade and you thought it was going to be turtle OTK, you get punished.
Aggro Viscerai is dead.
If you like side out,
Aggro Vis is dead. It died with Rosetta.
And then if someone doesn't know the turtle OTK is a thing again, they show up and they're not prepared for it, they just lose. Or at the list, if you don't have AB, you lose. You're dead. Like, that you can't kill him in time. He's running so many defense reactions. He is
there's a ton.
He is legitimately unkillable.
There's all reduced to rune chants, or sigil
all 9
sufferings in
reduced to
there.
rune chants, 3 sigils, I think 3 oasis respites, 3 sink blows, 3 fate for scenes, 3 red unmovables. It's miserable.
Yeah, it's decently, it's unfun.
And a good fridge.
The only one I would put, only other one I think I'd put in meme tier would be Olympia, but like, there's like a 9-0 list that does well.
Olympia is a real boy.
I think he's just weak.
I don't know about that.
I think all the warriors are good. So I think if you chose to play Olympia,
yeah, okay, That's fair. Any hero that has a decent amount of armor can't be a meme right now.
Yeah. I mean, Viscerai technically has a decent amount, right?
I said what I said.
Olympia has a win
Except for
condition
Betsy.
too.
Betsy deserves to be in a meme tier.
One of Warrior's biggest weaknesses is all their blues, other than like Glint, kind of suck, except for Olympia, who has Up the Ante. So he has 3 more blues in his deck, and Up the Ante is gas.
It is
so good.
He's missing a couple of pieces probably for like the whole like, what am I doing with all this gold? You know, like to really get it. But again, if he's weak now, he's tomorrow's meta. Okay.
All it takes is one expansion slot.
Yeah, I promise. He's tomorrow's meta.
I think that's the end of the meme tier, though.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
actually, we're in a wide open, so I'm cool with that because I actually think all other decks are decently playable.
Okay, so
then we'll go down the line.
Well, hold on a second. What about Dio?
No, I would just put it in weak.
I think Dio is just weak. I don't think she's a meme. I think all mechanologists are fairly strong. You just lose to Victor. That doesn't make you meme. That just makes you weak.
There's some fatigue lists you can run on Dio with heavy items. The problem with that is I've seen people play it and you just wait the shields out because you can just pass turns and they lose counters and you're not really getting any use. So it's a little weird.
I don't think Dio is
but
really...
I would put her weak.
Yeah. And like...
Bottom of week too,
Victor,
by the way.
She is so bad into Victor because Victor just excels at blocking 5. And any deck that excels at blocking 5, Dio really struggles into.
5 breakpoints are her bread and butter, and
yeah,
Victor
I'm just hearing you make points for my case here. That's all.
But it's
oh no, she competes with all the other aggro lists. Levia is pretty high up in the tier list, I think, and Levia is kind of a little bit spooked by all mechanologists. She probably beats up Illusionist. She's got a great matchup into Kano. She just naturally has AB3 in her kit. So I don't think she's meme. I just think that Victor is going to be very present. But let's get back to alphabetical order. Where does Azalea sit? I think
playable.
Strong.
You think she's playable, Noah, not strong?
I think she has weaknesses. I don't think her well actually no, I think her Kano matchup is 50-50, right? Like I think she can blow Kano out, but I think she also doesn't I don't think she doesn't really want to
Kano or KO?
Kano. She's good into KO. Really good into KO.
Good into KO. Think she's quite bad into Kano.
That's what I was gonna say.
She runs
like
pretty blue light and has nothing else to protect her.
And I'm not saying we're gonna have high stonks. I know the Victor matchup can be a little rough. Some of the more tankier Bravo is a 50-50 depending on the Bravo. A lot of these Bravos are, it's a skill setting thing. I think she's at like the top of playable borderline strong, but I don't put her as like a strong front running. She just doesn't convert as much as I think her play shares.
I think she goes in strong because I think she's aggro with disruption.
Yeah, and that KO matchup is very relevant for the Pro Tour. I mean, we're talking about one tournament. We're not talking about the meta in general. We're talking about this upcoming event. I think Azalea is probably a strong choice for the event.
The winner and the dark horse is coming from the playable tier, in my opinion. So that's why I put her there. Okay.
I think Bolton, I think at first I was thinking he was strong. I think I'm going to push him down to just playable now. He's the one that I say, like, he could be dark horse.
Which one are we talking about?
The point.
Lumina or...
That's the point, is that it's hard to tell what Bolton you're playing against, right? Like, until you have open deck list. He just has some inconsistency problems. Like, if you're playing Sabers and you don't see Spirit of Arenya, like, ouch. And then Raiden, if you don't see Spirit of Arenya. That's one card in your deck. You have one of those. So you will struggle a lot of times if you don't see that card in time. Or if you don't see your Beacon of Victories, you might have a rough time. Or if the deck is just willing to block out your Lumina turn, you have a tough time.
It's possible. I've lived through triple Lumina. Don't worry. Okay, it's possible. It sucks, but it's possible.
I don't think he goes into strong because of some of those inconsistencies. But like definitely winnable, and players who are really good are able to like say, okay, this is the turn I should block out because I'm just waiting to get to my stronger cards. And they're better at identifying those points, right? They just build up a little bit of soul and then wait. You seem to still disagree, Donnie. Where do you think Bolton belongs? Is he in the strong
I'm just
tier?
thinking back to I'm thinking he is a strong hero for the event
Mm-hmm.
because, well, the Sabres combo has a lot of play into a lot of different matchups right now, and you never know what you're sitting down across when you sit down across from a Bolton. So, not only that, but the fridge is fantastic. I don't know. I think he's a good deck.
Would you take him to
I think he's a
Protour?
solid. No, I suck with Warriors, so.
Okay. Then the person with the most Warrior experience would be Noah. Would you consider taking Bolton to Protour over
well,
like Dory or Kasai?
I think Dory's the better of the three for the way Pro Tour is going to shape up, unless somehow Bolton has just a really good Dromai matchup, but I don't know how his Dromai matchup is because I don't play Bolton. But I know that there's a lot of attack action blockers in the meta, and so he automatically gets extra points, in my opinion. Except if KO is going to be a large percentage of the field, which I don't think he might be the most played, although I'd probably take that bet. He's easy to play, and he's KO, not Kano.
Okay, both. Even though KO might be the most played, I agree.
That's what I was gonna say. So then I think, attack actions, right? No, KO's not gonna block you anyway, like at all. So no, he won't block. I promise you, if KO's blocking, there's something wrong. He'll just blow you out. You're gonna be waiting for Lumina, and he's gonna be trying to blow you out. So I don't know. I think he's definitely playable. I think he's definitely a dark horse. I don't write him off at all because Lumina's crazy. I think he has great play into the meta. I would consider him like an anti-meta almost. I don't know how his Dromai matchup is. I actually expect there to be way more Dromais than people give credit for. And because of that, I think even though the Dory matchup in a Dromai is very polarized and it's a very high skill ceiling match on both ends, there's a lot of talking back and forth between the decks. I would take Dory because I think Dory has an amazing KO matchup as well. KO's never going to block you out. And even if he wants to, he can't.
Okay, so you think Dory belongs in the strong tier?
I think Dory's a strong deck.
I agree. I think Dory belongs in the strong tier because I think she's favored against KO. She has a better fridge. She's pretty resilient to fleshback. Fleshback doesn't really matter that much to Dory because she could just play around it most of the time.
If Singing's in Arsenal, we're good.
Yeah, and I think she has a good matchup into Kano. I think she has an okay matchup into Leviah, if not just a little slightly unfavored. I think that comes up. That's a skill gap matchup. You're trying to get the Leviah to waste her gear. It doesn't matter. She can beat Dromai, which most of the Warriors can't.
Yeah.
They just straight up fold to Dromai. But Dawnblade building up counters and just two-shotting the Dromai is a thing.
Here's one problem and one caveat. And maybe Bolton gets bonus points. The Victor and Bravo matchup, depending upon the amount of D-reacts, because you never know, just starts dropping Dory's win rate by all unprecedented amount. If you play into a Victor, right? If you're Dawnblade, because some people run right now are trying to do this weird switch thing.
But if you show up with Decimator and you have like this plan that, or you just hope that you dodge Dromai, like
yeah, that's
part of the. Oh no, I'm dead.
This is like why every time we make a tier list and like I feel like in Josh's shoes. Like there aren't enough sideboard slots to cover all the bad matchups. There never will be, right? So if you take the Decimator Axe and you say my Guardians, my Arachnes, all these like weird fatigue decks, they're free. But you're gonna fold instantly to Dromai. And if you go, no, I'm gonna play my traditional Dawnblade and I'm gonna do my go again and my big hits, you're gonna lose to any Guardian that fat decks with like 14 D-reacts. Any Guardian. You like, unless you're playing some crazy mentals, second cycle, perfect lineup stuff, you're going to lose. Like, it's a very grueling, hard game. The percentage starts going away the more D-reacts. That's why in Bold and Blade, I didn't add it because the card's super inflated. Is at $20 right now.
I think that versatility of Dorinthia is the appeal for her to be strong because sideboarding against some heroes is so challenging and some are easy. Like, an Azalea shows up, you know exactly how to sideboard. Like, you know what her plan is. She shoots big arrows at you. She throws a couple go again attacks occasionally. She's just trying to aggro you down with disruption. When you sit across from a Dory, there's literally 3 ways she could play. She could play like this Dawnblade plan. She could play like this kind of value-based axe plan, or she could do dynamos.
That's what I was gonna say. And a lot of people, and I've read in the Purple Discord and I've talked around, have been speculating on some switch lists from Dawnblade to one-handed weapons in the same deck. And the one-handed weapons come in for the Guardian matchups. I'm not joking. They switch into one-handed weapons.
I'd have to see the list to have any belief in it.
Don't ask me why everybody wants to try these switch. Everybody wants to shore up that weakness. Guardian's pretty prevalent. And although I think Dory's a strong hero, I'd put her at the bottom probably of strong, because I feel like she does have some very polarized matchups that are going to be in the high. Bravo and Victor will be high shares. I think she does not want to see them.
I think where we look at the list now, I think she is better than Azalea.
Okay, I'd give you that.
Okay,
her armor's good. So the next one then is Bravo.
He's meta, in my opinion.
Do you think he's going to be
top.
the Protour meta?
Yes.
It always seems like the
100%.
Guardians are always put up there as meta warping. I guess because they are, right?
I mean, they have the best math of just about any deck. I mean, the best floor.
Okay, yes, the best floor, because they always get 13 points. No matter what happens, their hand is 13 points.
They are the kings of consistency. And I guess queens as well, now that we got Betsy.
But they have pretty low ceilings too. Like their biggest ceiling is like rouse the ancients into hammer with pummel attached to it, right? Which is good. That's 17, but that is it. That's their absolute ceiling is like 17 damage.
They do a really good job though. I mean, there's Bravo specialists out there that get it done. And every matchup's a game plan. It's numbers. It's walked down. It's pitched out. That to me is the skill ceiling on that deck. Which a good Bravo watch a good Bravo, then like watch like an average, completely different like hemispheres. Bravos that know their cards, their last 20 like down to a T. Like those Bravos, that's the meta. That's what I want to see at Pro Tour. That's what a top 8 Bravo is going to look like. And what's a bad Bravo matchup? They all feel pretty good.
No.
Kano.
Okay. I don't think Levia is a great matchup. Good Prism. Good Prism almost always beats Guardian.
Okay.
Like we used to think that they have lots of poppers and they hit hard, and Prism doesn't have good blocks. The thing is like the Guardians don't put enough pressure on Prism's life total unless they draw those go again cards. So they're starting off the game hoping they draw their go again package.
Kano is
and Dromai. Dromai's miserable for Guardians. They could win it, but they have to fatigue it, and they gotta hope the Dromai they don't get unlucky and draw their non-popper hand when Dromai's ready to come in at them.
That's that 90-90 matchup. The Bravos actually think they're favored. Dromais think they're favored.
I think Dromai is favored. They eventually you have to run out of poppers.
You do. I don't know.
Not Bravo. Still, just about everything is a popper.
Bravo 15-20% of the shares. Meta. Easy. 100%.
You're pitching those blues. He goes there. You're pitching those blues, and a lot of those blues aren't sixes.
He might be at the bottom of meta when we get done with this or somewhere, but he's meta. He will be played heavily.
All right. Dash.
Strong.
I think she's just strong. I think hybrid is a little bit weak in this meta, but I think slab dash is quite good.
Yep.
Really annoying 100%. That it's really good because that's not my cup of tea, and I really like dash, but slab is very strong. The value engine is really great, and it's very similar to Bravo, and I've even seen pummel dashes, so it's almost like she's basically Bravo, but instead of throwing one hammer for 4, she's shooting the gun twice for 2 instances of 2, which is better than one hammer for 4.
Absolutely.
What does slab dash actually mean for layman's like me?
That's where you run 2 pieces of the Evo bases, and you're running I think it's the blue soul piece and the foot soul piece and the hand soul piece. So you're just trying to accumulate this really large defensive value, throw 3 for 7s, and then if you can't do that, you shoot the gun with 1 blue card. So your worst hand is block 9, shoot for 2 twice.
Value. So we're in a value meta.
It was the leapfrog dash is the defensive dash.
It's very similar to like leapfrog and turtle. Like those words, but people just started calling it
Okay.
slab dash.
Talk about another one that hinders Dory in a way too. Like again, the more D reacts a deck runs, the more defensive it is, the worse Dawnblade gets, the better Acct gets. And so, but I put her strong because I think she does have dash different variants.
Yeah,
Never know what you're going to be playing against.
You never know what you're sitting across from.
It's to me, it's like a meta hitter. It's coming specifically to like prey on decks in the meta that think they're getting free passes. No, I like it. I strong
Dromai.
Meta.
I think
100%.
that Dromai's, other than this last weekend RTN where they took the top wins, I think the Dromais have like done this like super effective hush hush thing where they're like, no one play Dromai. No one. Don't talk about Dromai. Don't win with Dromai. Don't show up with Dromai. Dromai doesn't exist. And then Dromai's just
Everybody's been trying to figure it out. Everybody's been figuring out the list in the new meta.
She hasn't changed, and she was really strong in previous metas. So I think she's strong now.
She doesn't change, but the meta changes the way you approach it, and that's how she changes. Because I know that it's our local Dromai specialist, who's a wizard at it, okay, has been cooking up a list for who knows how long. I see him all the time, looking at his like. Trust me, they're out there mathing this out. Dromai will have more shares than people give credit for at the Pro Tour, and Dromai will be in the top 8. Calling it now. The deck's not going anywhere. In fact, it going away and the cards and all the popularity going down and only makes it better.
Yeah, because people kind of lose their idea of how to play against it, or you have new players. You have players switching decks, and then they never practice against Dromai with their new deck.
Oh yeah. Nope, this is the time to shine.
Go ahead and take her home. I think she wins Pro Tour. She's LL for sure, right?
Oh my!
She's
please,
high.
somebody
She's
go. Please, somebody go check the math, please. Because I'll be begging.
Dromai is currently at 760 points.
Gone.
Somebody,
I believe.
Somebody, please win with that deck
Mara
and
to take
send
her
it out.
Because Mara will have,
for sure.
It would be funny because I think Mara would have well over half the points.
Somebody out there.
I don't know.
Somebody take it out. There's a new illusionist coming in anyway. It's okay. It's we'll get there, and they'll bring the dragons back.
Other uprising hero. I don't think Phi can ever be lower than playable.
Oh, he's definitely playable.
Yeah.
He's always got field.
Rock solid aggro.
Note. The Pro Tour is only worth 200 points,
so
that will not knock her out.
Okay.
Oh man. All right, whatever.
Worlds is 300.
Worlds is
win
300.
anyway.
Okay.
Just still win. I can't take it back now, but damn.
Yep, you gotta live with her at least until Nats.
All right, well then Prism just wins so we can start getting this out. Let's go.
I don't think there's a lot to discuss with Phi. There are some weird variants of him, but you just show up. Phi does Phi
He's
things.
consistent. He does his thing.
He could just steal tournaments. We saw that with Worlds. And nothing has changed too much except for Victor coming out, which I think he struggles a little bit into.
There's more flesh bags in the meta. But I don't know how much flesh bag really bothers Phi.
There's
Balance of Justice
cards.
Annoys Phi.
Yeah, BOJ annoys Phi. And that's why Victor, I think, is pretty good, because not only does BOJ annoy Phi, Victor winning and getting a gold to get an extra card to block with annoys Phi.
Yeah.
But I think you could even beat Victor. If his hands line up well, you play well, you evaluate your turn cycles really well. I think you could still beat Victor, because if you get him on the back foot, you really can't block out Phi forever. The Phoenix Flame value is just going to get you eventually.
I agree.
All right, our other hero from Volcor, I think Kano is at the top of strong.
Yeah.
He won't be meta because he just won't have enough shares.
Not enough pilots to call him meta.
But he is 100%.
As the really strong heroes have slowly LL'd, every strong hero that hits Living Legend makes Kano stronger. Because as heroes weaken out a little bit, Kano does Kano things. The games are a little slower by a turn or two, and Kano has more time to search through his deck and find the combo.
That is true. And you've seen that they're starting to slow progressively as he does an LL, and they've made weaker cards. I'm not gonna say they're weak, but they've made toned down sync blow isn't a thing. Okay, they're not making any more sync blows.
Yeah, longer games are favorable for Kano. Shorter games
Absolutely.
are not.
And I think games
So-
are going a little longer.
And that's clear by his
Now.
design space. He has basically 0 armor, and he has 30 health.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Kasai. I've been a little disappointed with Kasai's performance. I think she's still really good. And she's very consistent. She absolutely folds to Kano.
She's still
Might as
meta
well
though
scoop.
because the shares. Because one,
I don't even
there's
think
a
so.
wipe.
I don't think she'll have a huge presence at Pro Tour. I disagree. I think
I think
there
she's
are,
probably playable.
I think
I-
I think
There's-
I mean, Dynamos
There's
is
too
really
much
good,
swag.
but
I don't think she could go below strong because her math is really strong. But she can't beat Dromai, and she can't beat Kano.
No, she can't. She for sure cannot beat Dromai.
And I
Two
think
swing
she can
weapons
even
can't beat
struggle
Dromai.
into
then
brutes.
I don't know that you can call her a strong choice if she just dies to Dromai.
Well, the
Maybe
only
that's
reason I
true.
put her in meta is simply because I think her shares are actually still going to be high. It's Kasai.
I don't think they are. I think people are going to realize that the Dromais are going to show up, and the Kasai players have said, I can't beat Dromai and I can't beat Kano. So I have 2 really polarized matchups.
Fine. Throw it
Maybe-
at the top
maybe-
of playable.
Maybe the top of playable.
Sure.
Like at least Story has a matchup into Dromai, and she's favored into Kano.
If
Like-
you bring some AB.
No, you bring a little bit of AB, but Kano can't stop you from hitting with the Dawn Blade.
Well, yeah, you put Kano on a clock, basically.
And Kano doesn't want
regardless.
to be on the clock. Like,
Yeah.
Dory is threatening lethal almost no matter what hand she draws on turn 4 versus Kano.
Yes, usually. Sometimes turn 3 is the
Okay.
earliest I've done it.
Katsu. This
tier.
guy is absolutely S. His pouncing links list is so incredibly bonkers. I think like you only need the tiniest bit of luck and you'll just run over your entire bracket. Like just it is so consistent. I don't know how many people have seen how this list is performing, but I've been watching a lot of it and it is brutal. It is brutal.
And it can beat Victor. It's one of the only lists that actually has a decent Victor matchup.
It
for
feels so
Akatsu.
unfair. Now, to be fair, I did do 3 test games right before this, and I won all 3 times. But I high rolled a bit, and I think I played almost perfectly. Like, if I make any mistake on Levia, I lose to Pouncing Link's Katsu. He just blows me below 13, and then Kodachis me to death. But it's so efficient.
That is the game plan.
It is so efficient. You just throw your flick flacks until you have like 3 of the cards that do the thing, and then you swing, and if any of them hit, you break the pouncing links. And then like you can't keep it from hitting because they're going to draw Ancestral, they're going to draw Art of War, they have breaking scales in play. It's eventually going to leak over.
That's
Yeah,
that's
you're
part
gonna
of the
hit
problem.
something.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd put him in S tier as a large meta share, but
I
he's
think-
definitely a
I
strong
think
choice for the event.
20%. I think there might be
You think so?
Yes, high. No lower than
Wow.
10. No lower than 10. I think people have started to see this deck and how powerful it is. And I think they think that the people who are starting to see this deck and how powerful it is, I think there's a share of Flesh and Blood players who haven't seen it because it is kind of weird, even though it's been around for forever. So I'm telling everyone, have a plan for Pouncing Link's Katsu. Have a plan for an unconditional 35 damage that's just going to show up. You either need to have the armor or you need to have the burst to compete. But if you don't, Pouncing Link's Katsu is going to be a problem. You cannot value him. He will,
I was gonna say, I can tell you, you'll watch it on the game, and I'm sure I could have done blocks a little better. But I mean, even with a bunch of D-reacts, I actually felt that I should have had less cards and just more concise pressure would have been better
and
than
you just don't
attempting
know
to try
when
and
it's going
block
to
it.
come.
You can't block.
Throwing
You can't
armor.
block cats out.
Well, the thing is, you just don't know what's going to come. You throw armor here and there because you think, oh, this is a good turn for him to do it. And then he just chips you for like 4 damage and moves on, right?
Yeah. Well, it fills the graveyard up with some block cards and cycles, maybe pitches some things down. Again, Atsu can roll it back. Atsu doesn't have to like, oh, I see it, I go. He can fill the graveyard. Oh, there's my triple bonds I've set up. Boom.
Dude, and using Pouncing Links to grab blue Bonds of Ancestry is
Oh,
so
it's
disgusting.
so cheeky. It's so cheeky. I love it. I think it's amazing.
It makes me so mad. Bonds
it happened to me.
descendant, bonds descendant, bonds descendant. Well, yeah, that was fun. Okay. I think the last hero, maybe second to last hero in the meta is KO. I think this hero is so easy to pilot. I'm not saying Flesh and Blood is hard at its floor, but KO is much easier to pilot. And when someone is effective and easy to pilot, that means that you make better choices disrupting your opponent's game plan, right?
Yeah. No, and his numbers are just straight unfair sometimes. Like the turns
Oh,
can
yeah.
line up, good might token, good carryover. No, big numbers, big value turns, good way of getting 5-card hands, still makes use out of excess cards. No, I 100%. Highest shares at the Pro Tour, if not Dromai, because they all just come out of the woodworks for some reason.
He's good. I have all the cards to make him. I think I might be short one cast bones. So
We got you.
I would probably not be disagreeable to showing up with KO rather than Leviah, even though I'm a Leviah stan and I've been practicing relentlessly for weeks.
Well, what it sounds like is you're a brute stan. Let's be real here. All three of those here, Reinhardt, Leviah.
No, I really like heroes that use the banish zone, which is Mechanologists and Leviah, and I really like Chain a lot too. Okay, speaking of Leviah, I think that she has the ability to be meta, but I think most people who are like, yeah, her numbers are great, but I ain't taking her to Pro Tour.
I think she's a strong deck, though.
The blood debt.
She still has. I was about to say she still has some inconsistency issues occasionally, right?
I don't think it's even inconsistency issues. I think it's complexity issues, because sometimes when you took blood debt later, when you took like 8 or 9, if you would have just taken 3 earlier in the game, you would never have taken that 8 or 9. You just got greedy. You're like, this card deals more damage right now. Because like you go, oh, I've got a blue, I've got a Dread Screamer, I've got a Boneyard Marauder, I've got an Arsenal already. I guess I will throw 12 and eat 6 cards out of my graveyard, when you probably should have thrown Dread Screamer and clawed. Over pitching the Boneyard to get rid of it. Like stuff like that, right? And that's hard. Why play a hard deck when Unga Bunga KO does something similar? I think is what a lot of people will feel like, and that's why I think KO will be more meta.
I agree. No,
fair enough.
I agree. I think, but strong tier for sure.
Max, I think he's just weak.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
His game plan is really good as soon as brutes are just done playing Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, I was gonna say he just folds. He folds. Smashing Performance basically just says
Arc Smash and Smashing Performance just fold him. Even if he were like really good in the meta and brutes weren't around, that Guardians will start putting in Imperial Warhorn and Assassins will put in Smashing Good Times. So, all right, next is Prism. I think she suffers the same thing as Leviah. Amazing hero, really strong, surprisingly good matchups in the Guardians. Like, it's crazy. I've been watching a lot of games, surprisingly good matchups in the Guardians, despite all the poppers, but incredibly difficult to play.
Yeah, but there's gonna be a lot of those top tier like Brain, like Rhea and all that. They're gonna be on it's gonna be meta. It's gonna be meta shares for sure.
I don't think so.
I don't think
she's gonna be meta.
I think it will have 2%.
2%. Oh
just
my!
She's very difficult to play. She is so hard to play.
Well, now I gotta pick up Prism, so there's at least 3%.
Yeah. So I think Prism is very strong. And if you look, the top of our strong are 3 characters that have just extremely high complexities, right?
Yeah, Kano.
Player skill. Player skill is a huge factor right now.
Rhinar, I think he just goes in the playable tier.
Agreed.
He is good, and he's better than people give him credit for.
He's better than people
top
give
of playable
for.
though.
Yeah.
So put him top of playable.
I would maybe even put him a little bit under Kasai, because Rhinar has some inconsistency issues. Sometimes he's just stuck in this loop of block 6, throw 6, which a lot of decks really prey on now.
Yeah, because actually 12
block
isn't good
6,
enough.
throw 6 is under rate technically, right? That's only a 12-point turn cycle, and Rhinar gets stuck in that sometimes.
You need to be pushing 14 average.
Yep.
12 is on rate. 14 used to be good. So we are. This is the power creep coming in.
Well, when we say on rate, we're comparing to what is the most on rate? Bravo and Dash. They block 9, swing 4. If you can't do better than block 9, swing 4, just play Bravo or Dash. So I think that's why Reinar falls into some issues. He can struggle to get out of that block 6, swing 6. Because of like how weird the cards are, right? Like even Show No Mercy, I think that card is super good, but if it with a 2-card hand, it's just a 6 damage attack.
Right.
All right, Vincent, I think she is sitting in the weak tier.
I agree.
I don't think she's bad. And I wouldn't even fault someone for showing up with Vincent. I think she could surprise a lot of people, and I think she has some really, really great combos that can just take people out.
Hey,
yeah, that
prey on those
that
prisms.
IP3 thing is just
she almost falls into that same problem as Reinar, right? Like you're blocking 3, swinging 9, and so you could struggle there because you'll slowly chip damage, and then the person can, when they don't want the disruptive attack, they AV3 and block 6. And eventually you'll run out of your runic incantations, and you'll just have a turn where you don't have Rin Chance.
Her problem is that she folds to Bravo. Like it is ridiculously hard. Oh
god, you get hit with a crippling crush, your life is just over as Vincent.
No. It's because she has a really hard time against fatigue strategies. Mm-hmm. So Bravo is so efficient.
Susceptible.
It's I don't think she's a good choice for that reason.
Even if you get like a consistent non-attack action, so you can sack the life to make sure one of the Rune Chance hits isn't enough. I haven't played her very much, so I don't have a great perspective other than knowing that the game plan to beating her is very straightforward.
Well, that was my experience back when Dusk Till Dawn first came out, because I put a lot of time into Vincent when she first came out. I haven't played her a lot since then. She's another hero that I'm looking at trying again.
I think,
just like I said.
Yeah,
I think you should.
I think if you survive the 3 pummels, she usually has 3, maybe 2. If you survive those, she just kind of runs out of things to do.
Not lately.
Oh, she's not running pummel.
Most recent lists aren't on pummel anymore. But
I find that interesting. All right, you're going to be surprised. Tekla goes into playable for sure.
What? Think so?
He's good. His math is really strong. He's got some pretty good matchups. He does kind of fold to Kano, and I think he also folds to Dromai.
Oh yeah.
So that he can never be in the strong tier.
It's pretty rough.
But like, if you don't have a plan, he can fatigue you, and you just can't get through the wall. And then like you think you're finally getting through, and then suddenly Singularity drops, and he just starts bashing you for 6 over and over and over again. He is a little bit based on randomness, because if like you don't draw your evos evenly, you can really, really struggle. So if you don't draw your hand pieces, foot pieces, chest pieces, and head pieces kind of like dispersed across your deck, you can struggle quite a bit. I don't know if you know, but most of the lists don't even run the red pieces except for the headpiece, because the red headpiece says +1 intellect, right? So that one's actually worth cycling for the defensive value. It's just blue pieces for the rest, and you just play for maximum value. If you get a chance, you throw out a Terminator tank or something to disrupt your opponent. Command and Conquer. I think they run Command and Conquer, and so on. Until you can get that Singularity. But sometimes you just legitimately wear them down. Like anytime they get to keep a card, they get to shoot the gun and re-equip gear. And Fabricate is good. Like Fabricate is actually like kind of insane, because if they have pretty fresh
it's still
gear,
a good card.
Yeah, if they have pretty fresh gear and you like kind of go into them with like a wide or a tall turn, they just go Fabricate, block a lot, even when you thought I couldn't block a lot. I think Azuri. I think she also sits in playable.
I agree.
Yeah, I was hoping we were going to put her there.
Yeah, I think Arachne.
Always playable.
I personally think Arachne is almost in the playable tier. It's just like I think Azuri is better, and she's going to struggle against some of these matchups. Again,
Yeah.
Dog Water versus Kano. Pretty much an auto loss versus Dromai. I think she loses to Katsu as soon as she doesn't present relevant disruption. Game is over after that. So the one turn she doesn't present relevant disruption, Katsu's like, this is the time, take 30.
And Katsu's probably been blocking beforehand, so especially on this new list, the triple bonds is coming. Like that's when you're setting it up. Like, oh, I get my turn. Play.
Yeah, I mean, you just
it's
at
too
some
wide
point
to block.
as the Katsu, you just go, okay, I can lose a card from hand or from arsenal, and I'm still going to pop off. I don't care what the disruption is. And okay, our last person is Victor. I don't know where to put Victor. Is he meta?
Strong. No,
he's
strong.
No, he's not meta. He's strong.
You think people are going to more likely to show up on Guardian or on Bravo if they're playing Guardian?
Victor,
I think so, but
I just think that there's still a split in the Victor community where people think it's a fatigue deck, and then people are like, it's not a fatigue deck.
I don't think you'll see a single fatigue Victor show up to Pro Tour, and if they do, I don't think they'll make it. I don't think they'll make it past the first 4 rounds.
Victor does some pretty cool unfair things. I just don't. I don't know the hero enough.
Victor is a deceptively aggro deck. You block with a test or a trounce, and then you swing for a lot.
Yeah, we'll have to actually wait until the Pro Tour and see what Charles Dunn is playing to figure out what the fatigue deck and format is.
What if he shows up on Victor and he just wins the whole thing?
Like
fatigue I've seen value. I've seen
fatigue is a thing. I don't know if it's a good thing, but it's a thing. Well, I think S and A are kind of like on level with each other, right? I don't think an A hero is necessarily worse than S hero. S is saying what you need to build your deck to have a chance against, to have a chance to top 8 or top 32.
A and B are still your, like, A is your like your higher field, maybe more of like your meta hitters, and I think B still fits into that as well. I think A and B are intertwined in that, like, you're not going to see as many B tier playable decks as you're going to see strong decks.
If you look at like S and A across them, none of them really have weak matchups into each other. They're all like skill intensive or skill gap.
Yeah.
Except I guess Kano versus Prism. I don't think a good Prism player ever loses to Kano. Ever. You just got Ward a million.
Yeah.
You have Spell Void 3 in your gear, usually playing against Kano, and you could summon Ward 4 basically on command.
And then I ate their Wildfire for 0.
Yeah, like, and then you make all these spectral shields and stuff too, so all your like on hits, like Lessons in Lava, you're not getting the value from them. Your spindles kind of suck. That would be really the only matchup that I would say is like polarizing. I guess Azalea isn't good versus Kano, but she's fine. She could win versus everyone else, even Dromai. She could roll a Dromai hard. She could do it.
You just gotta shoot really, really big arrows.
I'm pretty sure the rest of these heroes that are in B or lower all have like glaring weaknesses into A or higher, though. I still think Victor might be meta. I think we've got pretty close to what the dominant playfield is going to be.
Yeah,
Victor might squeak out shares and become a meta deck. I think he's a very popular Guardian right now, more than people give him credit for. I think Bravo's just the better overall well-rounded Guardian, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm happy with what it looks like right now.
All right. Well, I think that's a good way to wrap it up.
I like our tier list. It's real.
I don't know if it's a full tier list.
We're guessing.
Yeah, I think this is what Pro Tour is most likely going to look like.
Yep. Until somehow Viscerai wins the whole thing. And we all have to sit here and go, well, how did this happen?
Or Betsy in top 8 or something bizarre.
Look,
I would love if that actually happened. It's not going to.
Take it. One of you guys take it. Take a random deck win. Prove everybody wrong. That's what I would do. Take something real weird. Prove it all wrong.
Well,
I mean, if whoever's got that weird deck tech, I'm here for it. Good luck to you.
Yeah, we're always
But we got
waiting
anything
for
else?
the next like Bullander to show up, right?
Yeah. Here
So,
we go.
anything else, guys?
Nope,
Before we wrap it up?
I'm done.
No, I'm ready.
All right. Thomas, where can everybody find you?
I'm at Wet the System Fab on Twitter, and you can find me pretty much anywhere as Wet the System. I troll mainly Mansense Discord and the Card Guys Discord.
Noah?
I am at Big Max Fab on Twitter and twitch.tv/LeadSoHeavy.
And I am Draco Hominus 87 on most social medias, or at Sick Crew, depending on how I'm feeling at any given moment. I am also Donnie K on fabric.gg, where I write several different article series. Look me up if you're interested in that type of content. Otherwise, thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed catching up with us this week, and if you did, subscribe or follow, depending on where you found us, to catch us again next time. Until then, take care of yourselves, and remember, we are all siblings in cardboard.
Bye, guys. Thank you, Patrons. And discard your cards.
And
it's Pro Tour. You got to do it.
And kill Genesis.
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
Don't leave it out.